Hey, this is Darryl coming in from FanExpo 2019, and I am joined by John Warden.
Hey, how's it going?
Ransan
Yeah, hi guys.
from Hasbro, and I got a couple questions here. I want to run by you, see what you guys are thinking. So, John, do you remember when you got into Transformers for the first time?
Yeah, I was right there in the beginning, 1984. You know that it was the first episode of the first cartoon.
Really?
Yeah, more than BCI Part 1. But I can honestly say before I played with Transformers, I also was reading the comic books.
Okay.
The comics, and I would roll them up and keep them in my backpack.
Yep.
When the cartoon came on, which was around the same time, but not exactly the same time, it was interesting because the story of the cartoon and the story of the comics, I still remember it super vividly. And it was a cool thing at the time. It was really hard to get Soundwave. Like, I remember if you had Soundwave, it was like you were the cool kid. So, yeah.
One of our hosts, Charles, is going to be hugely excited that you read the original Marvel comics.
Oh yeah, I love those. It's an incredible story. It really is. It stands up. Bob Budiansky and the team really knocked it out of the park. It was a perfect gel of adventure, heart. I can keep going about that.
Do you remember who your first toy was?
I do. It was Blue Street.
Blue Street.
G1 Blue Street.
Right on.
Which is I think it's mostly because my dad liked the Datsun Z car.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
so
cool.
my dad bought it for himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, here you go.
Hey,
But yeah, no, I still remember it.
How old were you when you saw the '86 movie?
I was 11.
You were 11.
I was at a traumatizing age. Yeah, because
right on.
When you're 11, a lot of kids stop playing with toys.
Yes.
And at the time I was watching I was watching Robotech on TV and stuff like that. I think Robotech was around the same time.
Yep.
And I was sort of getting out of Transformers and getting into other things, and I was collecting comic books more and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll go see the movie, And I bought Hot Rod. He was my favorite character, and I was like still kind of hanging on. I had like a Hardhead and a couple of Headmaster guys, and like they were cool. They weren't as cool as the original cast, And then that first part, it still gets me.
First 7 minutes, man, it's a killer.
It's terrible. I don't know. It's worse.
Did you cry? Like,
I did.
You did?
We all did.
Yeah, it's not it can't be ashamed if you cried. Like, I mean, real men cry.
Prime died. So, legit. Ultra Magnus gets blown apart. The Junkions are able to put it back together.
Yeah.
Optimus gets stabbed at like a piece of rock. Or whatever that was, like that Cybertron metal that Autobot City's made of. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really, that's what killed Optimus Prime? So I've always chalked it up to it's like, like if people in the Civil War got shot and that's where your vitals are, bleeding out. Yeah, of course I cried. It's awful.
Well, the comic version of the movie, Ultra Magnus was drawn at quarter. Like, legit. Like, pulled to pieces. It was bad.
It was sad.
It was bad.
It was sad.
Now, how did you get into toy design?
Well, it's something I always wanted to do. It's one of those things when you're a little kid, they say, all little boys want to be a paleontologist or something like that. So I always wanted to do it. My dad studied as industrial designer.
Okay.
He was an art teacher. So he kind of showed me how to draw perspective and showed me the basics of the design process. I was actually invited to an American company based out of Ohio called Amtoy, and I looked at the original Mad Balls.
Oh yeah.
And I wrote the president a letter, and they invited me in, and I showed me how to do the design process. So I wanted to do that from in the beginning as a little kid. But then when I went through design school, I actually started off in the automotive industry. It wasn't very fun, and then I got into Hasbro, and I designed Star Wars figures back in 1999. I've been with it ever since. Back when you were probably a little kid.
All right, John. In this interview, you're giving away too much of your age now.
It's fine. I let my hair go gray like Reed Richards.
All right. So get into a little bit more detail here. When you started designing Transformers, there was an obvious design focus that the playability was more of a sandbox pattern for you.
Yep.
Leaning more figures to multiple size classes that can interact with each other. Was this all done like consciously, or how much planning went into that? Was it done to save money in the long run? What kind of went into the thought of designing figures from like Combiner Wars on?
Well, when I moved over to Transformers, I had previously worked on a line G.I. Joe,
Yep.
and I'd done G.I. Joe for a while, and we were really efficient about our tooling library.
Okay.
And I found we could get more done by trying to think about our 1 or 3 year process. So working with the marketing team, we really try to make our tooling library stretch as much as we can. Also, I feel like Transformers as a brand has always lent itself well for sandbox play. There should be a mixing of scales.
Yeah.
And with Power of the Primes, especially with War for Cybertron, we want to make sure that fans feel the need to collect multiple scales, because it's all about like building a universe. We met early on. We talked about building your shelf. So for Siege, it was all about like how do you bring your shelf to life. So we saw fans online with their collections, and so we wanted to have that happen.
Yeah,
So that's a big piece of what we do.
Nice. Now, your design team has gotten away from doing more obvious gimmicks like lights and sounds in favor of more articulation and paint apps. Will those gimmicks kind of return in a more specific uses, or instead of line-wide stuff? I'm thinking more of like mech tech weapons, which were more of unanimously panned.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy mechanism stuff. We still do a lot of that in the Cyberverse line. Lights and sounds are definitely something that we still see in a lot of the kid-focused lines. We saw them more recently in Fortress Maximus, spoke and had some lines. But when we talk to fans at conventions, like FanExpo here, we're able to really kind of glean from talking to people that they prefer articulation, deco, things like that now.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I feel like the best thing about Transformers is that it's a brand for everybody. So we have made it the brand so that we have different segmentations. So now we have Cyberverse, which is our new series that's targeted more towards a younger audience. And then before that, it's of course Risky Box.
It's a great series.
Exactly. And then now with Generations, it's like those boys get older. They want more, difficult articulations or difficult conversions. So those are things that people look for in Generations. So we sort of put those lights, sound, and those electronics part into more of a kid line. And then with our fan line, who is mostly older boys, as well as adult fans like you guys who come to these conventions.
Grown ass men, yes.
No. So you guys are really want more of that, most accurate version of that character. So we want to put most of our money into either the conversion or their decos or their details. Like War for Cybertron, we put so much more details. Like if you look at Power of the Prime versus War for Cybertron, they look night and day, because we wanted to give a different feel to it. We wanted to have a new series to it. So we wanted to make sure they do look something different. And those are things that we invest in rather than lights and sounds and electronics.
well said.
So how much pre-production would go into figures that you've included in recent fan polls? Have there been any poll winners that have surprised you? Were you expecting another figure to win? Finding any of these? Has there been a good way to judge what the fan base would like in any of the
I can take this one. So the thing that surprised me was the Power of the Primes, the Optimus Prime were winning.
Okay.
I would have expected, like Star Saber, one of those other guys, Ultra Magnus, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you do not underestimate the Beast Wars fan base.
Right.
And it's a juggernaut online. Like
Sure.
those guys are very vocal and they get excited about these fan base. So that one surprised me. I think some of the other ones, didn't surprise me as much. Triptychon kind of fell right. That one you kind of saw that one coming. But in the process of doing these fan votes, it does help us from a marketing perspective to really understand just what is inside the consumer mindset. And you'll see, Spinister lost a fan vote, still came out with a figure.
Yeah.
So we're
He's
able
first.
to.
I know.
He's still
So,
Yeah, personally, I was surprised that Needle Nose didn't win this fan vote that we just had this year.
Right,
Because
right.
it's Ramadan, oh, okay, awesome, thanks fans, so we're gonna make him. So
Yeah.
there's something we are surprised by the characters that our fans choose.
I wasn't surprised. I think Runamuck. I think fans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
I
it-
think
you wanna-
there was a lot of
That was
debate
my
in line. I think it was they really from a
Yeah.
voting standpoint they were neck and neck.
They were,
Yeah.
they really were. And in terms of your timeline, we developed in partnership with Kawatomi, as you know. So that's why we basically have a very unique quality time to develop characters. So that's why we have to do our fan votes usually a year and a half or 2 years in advance. And the recent fan vote, that character's not coming until fall of 2020. So that's why we do these votes really quickly.
That's right. Lightning round, right?
Yeah. With the vast catalog of Transformers, is it possible for you to do a line of figures without the big four, like Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron, and Starscream?
Absolutely. You know, I think part of what we do with our fan line is we try to engage all sorts of fans. But I do have to say that our Ortho Cybertron line, really, one of our biggest consumers, at least when we know in the United States, is that it's a 10-year-old kid. And I think you still need some of those characters in there. But the trick is, like when I worked on G.I. Joe, it's like, how do you do Snake Eyes again in a way? So it's like you have to give fans a reason to buy another Optimus. I think those guys you can't get away with display. I think you'll see in Warden Cybertron, there's no Bumblebee, and that's by design.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. With Barricade getting an upcoming Siege release, we're seeing another character being looked in the G1 universe of current toys. Are we looking to see more characters make their way from other parts of the fandom or other parts of the brand into being G1ified, if I can kind of make that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I mean, one of the things we noticed is there's such a rich library of characters from animated and Prime that really there's such untapped potential from that. Not even get started between, Beast Wars and things like that. There's a lot of cool places. I think it's fair to make sense. I think with Barricade, it made sense because he is an obvious redeco from the 80s. Like, if you think about that Prowl Hole, like it made sense to make him that way. And there was fan art from Guido that you saw that. So we were actually able to kind of tap into what we think fans want. But yeah, it's all about what's the time, when is the time right to do it.
All right, let's go to the big one. The adult collector knows that they're not the main focus when it comes to the mainline Transformers, but you guys at Hasbro have been doing an excellent job at satisfying our need to collect transforming bits of plastic. From Masterpiece Studio Series and even the G1 reissues, nothing is more laser focused to the adult collector than the Hasbro Unicron figure.
Oh yeah.
Now, I've got to ask the main question is just why make it?
Why that one? It's one of those things, like, I still remember going to Comic-Con and someone coming to me and was like, wow, Predator King is great, but you know what you should do? Is you should do Unicron. We heard that like about 50 times, 50 different people.
Okay.
And so, when you hear people say it enough times, even internally, and we have a platform like HasLab that lets us crowdfund something like that, heck yeah, let's do it. Let's make it big and let's make sure it's the best expression possible.
Obviously, it's really difficult to put something of that scale in retail and sell it in stores. So we were like, it's not going to happen for a while. Then we had the opportunity when Host Team approached us for a HasLab project. We were like, well, if Star Wars is doing Sail Barge, we have to do Unicron. So that was very
Is there conflict between the two? Like, is there kind of like a friendly competition? They did space, they did the sales barge. All right, we got to go bigger.
Oh no, I think it's all about trying to visualize what is that Grail. What does the Grail look like for Transformers? It's Unicron.
It is. It's Unicron. So we got the price is $574. It's $575 US basically, and you got 8,000 backers you're looking for, right? So where do these numbers come from? The number 8,000. Where did you get that from?
Yeah, it is a good question, and I can't comment on exactly how or where, but it is a number that we set our goal to with our, goals teams, with our entire company's policy. So we had to make that into something that we were able to say, this is the number we're gonna go with. We're gonna push it out. There's also obviously the financial reasons behind that as well, but that's the number that we just just we had to commit to it because in order to make that toy, for us to commit to that toy, that's just the number that we had to commit to.
Right on. And lastly, just a fun one: Autobot or Decepticon?
Autobot, easy question.
Constructicon? Devastator?
That's a Decepticon.
Decepticon.
And then who's your favorite Autobot?
You're more like an IDW Decepticon. You're like a sort of good Decepticon.
Who's your favorite Autobot?
Roadbuster.
Roadbuster.
Yes,
RC. She's my favorite.
All right. Right on. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.